Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyersguy, reminding you to check out the Orange and Black Recap with me, Timmy Flyersguy. The Orange and Black Recap is a show that recaps every Flyers game the day after every Flyers game and right after afternoon games. The Orange and Black Recap. I go in and I recap Flyers hockey, and I recap the game, and I recap everything about the game, and I give my analysis and my words of wisdom on the Orange and Black Recap. So make sure you check out the Orange and Black Recap exclusively on my YouTube channel, Timmy Flyersguy, my Instagram, Timmy the Flyersguy 215, and the Flyers Extreme Facebook group.
My shine, they think I'm out of my mind. One chance, we own. Take another look, you know that we gone. Came from the ground and we crawling up. You can feel it in your fist when you balling up. Come on. The sky turns black, it don't matter. We know the sun is coming up. We were born to run.
Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to this week's edition of Classic Flyers Theater. I'm your host, Timmy Flyersguy, and in this episode, we got a classic game between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers from April of 22. We have a classic game between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers from April of 2006. This game had playoff implications as the Philadelphia Flyers took on the New York Rangers in an afternoon matchup at the Wells Fargo Center in April of 2006. I attended this game with my dad, and we both knew that this game was going to mean a lot for the Philadelphia Flyers, and this is a game that was a must-win for the Philadelphia Flyers, as the Rangers had a lot of momentum against the Flyers when the Rangers came to the Wells Fargo Center. Rangers won most of the series on the road against the Flyers at the Wells Fargo Center. The Flyers will be looking to change that as they face off against the New York Rangers. Let's get into the action as we take you back to April of 2006 as the Philadelphia Flyers take on the New York Rangers. Let's roll the footage.
The NHL on NBC is brought to you by AIG. For insurance, loans, and retirement, AIG. By Monster.com. Post your resume on Monster today and let the right job find you. By Sprint, official wireless provider of the NHL. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Opening face-off underway. The last time these two teams will meet in the regular season. Here in Philadelphia, the Rangers have won all three. An air of drama hanging over this one today. Sellout crowd as usual. 25 million fans have watched hockey here since the team came in '67. It's a sellout of over 19,500 again today. And it is thrown across by Mike Knuble to Peter Forsberg. Got free on to Yanni Pitkanen, who pulls away to the corner. Gagne, Knuble, and Forsberg. That big line that's been so powerful all year out there to start this game for the Philadelphia Flyers. It is not strength against strength just yet, or the Yager line would be there. Played back out by Michael Nylander and down.
Well, Forsberg skated freely. During his first shift, he had some great moves around two different players, set up a shot by Pitkanen, but the shot wasn't taken. So Forsberg's coming back with a groin injury. His winger is Mike Knuble, one of the two wingers, who was questionable for this game because of a abdominal muscle pull, but he took warm-up and could play. Pierre Maguire is downstairs.
JD, big situation early on against the Rangers. That icing call, it's a long shift. Now the Flyers get fresh legs on the ice. Rangers can't change.
Dennis Gauthier threw a shot, another by Hanzus that's tipped wide. It was Dennis Gauthier who had the big hit in the last meeting between these two teams at Madison Square Garden in the first minute against Marty Straka of the Rangers. Centering pass came right back. Turnaround, and that one went off Kapanen. Desjardins a shot, came back to him. Another shot, blocked by Weeks. It popped near the front and is scooped behind by Peter Nedved, the ex-Ranger. Down goes a Ranger, Tom Poti. Up the boards as Yager is out there now for New York. Played back on, and Marty Straka finesses it through to him. Jaromir Jagr brings it ahead, and a 2-on-2 for the Rangers. Jagr fed it across, and a rifling shot by Straka was blocked by Nedved, a broken stick on the ice.
Mike's second game in a row between these two teams. Gauthier and Desjardins, the two defensemen, play against Jagr's line.
Gauthier, the big hitter on Philadelphia's team, number 23 in the black uniform. R.J. Umberger brings it ahead. Falling is Roosevelt as it's tossed on goal and stopped by Kevin Weeks. He and Niittymaki, the goaltenders today, and Weeks another stop on Dimitrakos, and he's able to cover up. An eventful first 2 minutes here. Before this game, as everyone stood, it was not the Star-Spangled Banner. It was hearkening back to glory days. Lauren Hart and Kate Smith with God Bless America. What an impressive ovation that received. That moment is saved only for special games. I remember it before the 7th game of the 2000 conference finals against New Jersey. This place lights up every time Lauren Hart sings, but in particular when she sings that one with Kate Smith alongside.
Lauren Hart, the daughter of Gene Hart, who for many years was the play-by-play man here, and I remember him bragging about his daughter, who was going to be a wonderful singer, and she's better than wonderful. Very, very good.
She was only a teenager at the time. And has she ever become important here in Philadelphia as her father was?
Amazing early energy here in the building. Players on both sides very, very paying attention to matchups early on. They've got to get Jagr on the ice more, John.
We'll see if they do that as it's brought back ahead now on the attack for the Flyers. It is Richards trying to pull his way through. Donald Brashear a shot, and that ricocheted off Weeks.
Off his helmet, off his mask.
5 shots so far, all off Flyer sticks.
I think, yeah, there's a lot of early energy here with the Flyers. Will the Rangers be able to get through this early rush the Flyers are putting on them? That is the big question.
Savage lost, but got help. Then it pinballed in front and is corralled by Dominic Moore. Laid back over now for Sandis Ozolinsh. Run into by Mike Richards. They try the other way for Colton Orr, who's run off by Jani
Penalty
Pitkanen.
coming up to the Flyers. Pitkanen will get the call. It's a roughing call. First power play will go to the Rangers, and Brashear is over shoving at Colton Orr at center ice. And the linesman gets in between the two big boys in this game.
Let's check in with Pierre Maguire, Bud Light, inside the glass, and his report.
Well, no surprise. Colton Orr, Donald Brashear squaring up with one another. Dave Jackson, the official, along with David Brisebois, step in to separate them. Don't be surprised to see something like this carry on later on in the game, especially if we have a bit of a lopsided score. But there's a lot of animosity between these two teams, and Brashear and Colton Orr personify that kind of animosity that we expect from the Rangers and the Flyers.
And Brashear is only 5 feet away from Pierre as he says it. Do you think that was a hint? Brashear was just coming off the ice right to the bench. Pierre is there where he can hear a lot that goes on. It is a two-way street. They can hear him too.
What's that?
Here is Pruka, run into by Simone Gagne on the penalty kill. Fed onto the back now for a pass on to Jaromir Jagr. Jagr looks over. A little pass in front is tipped away from Straka. Then handed across for a return to Marty Straka. Oftentimes the setup man for Jagr. Played onto the outside once again. Turning around and dropping a pass back was Nylander. That is cut by Gagne and cleared.
The Rangers go with 4 forwards. Straka playing the point on the power play. It's a big power play for the Rangers because the Flyers have carried the offense. All 5 shots belong to Philadelphia so far.
This is the poorest team on home ice in the league at penalty killing. Jagr lost it. It's knifed on back to the point, held by Tom Poti. Flipped it on for Peter Sikora. The blast back in deeper, poked away from Darian Hatcher. Worked on back to the point and walked on by Poti. Then across to Sikora. Drive! It's deflected wide by Ratchi. Nidimäki tried for it, but it squibbed around behind and is jammed on by Straka to the last 37 of the power play. Straka turning away from the stick lean of Hatcher and gets a little more room. Moving in is Poti. That one chopped, but into the body of Ratchi. Tried to lay it ahead for Kapanen, and it's blocked aside.
Straka he reached back without looking and blocked the pass, and Kapanen had a breakaway.
Hustling ahead now is Ward. Dropped the pass back that's chipped away and brought back on by Brian Savage. Nudged it on ahead to Richards. Richards had it knocked away on defense by Poti. And more time off the clock. 2 seconds and 1. Pitkanen out of the box. The Flyers have killed it off. Ward able to hustle ahead for the Rangers and poke it back in. Dennis Gauthier behind, sealed up there by Blair Betts. Back it comes, and Gagne can turn back with it.
Well, this is not the matchup the Rangers want against the Forsberg line with Fedor Tooth and Thomas Klock on the ice. Look out!
Offside is called.
You know, Pierre, it's going to be tough all afternoon with the Rangers having injury problems, especially to Darius Kasparaitis, to get caught. When you're the visitor, the Flyers have the last change. Is it not more difficult then to get the matchups you want against Forsberg?
It is, John, but one of the things you have to know after you're on the power play, Ken Hitchcock's probably going to hold in reserve Forsberg, Knuble, and Gagne, so you got to be prepared as soon as the penalty's over that those guys are going to jump on. And so you can't have that matchup. You got to make sure.
And that's the same thing that will happen when the Rangers are killing a penalty. When it's over, the Rangers will come back with Jagr's line. And by the way, here we have some power against power right now. First time in the game.
Nylander, Sikora, and Jagr are out against the Peter Forsberg unit. That is Knuble and Gagne, his wingers, as it's trickled back in. Moving in is Desjardins. Around behind it came magically right over to Peter Forsberg, as it seems to often do. Pass for Gauthier was off his stick. And it is turned back, but into some trouble by the Ranger defense. Jagr able to slide it across. Sikora had his stick lifted. A nice defensive play by Mike Knuble. The only Iron Man, the only man to play in all games for the Flyers in an injury-marked year. As a shot goes off the glove of Weeks, and a penalty coming up. It'll be against
Forsberg
the Rangers.
Or Nylander. Forsberg and Nylander had a battle at the center ice red line.
Looking from where we are on the 9th floor of a 10-story building in Philadelphia.
Right up in here is the penalty as Nylander, without the puck there, ran into Forsberg, and Forsberg ripped his helmet off. Nylander's in the penalty box.
This is Sami Kapanen on this power play that has been about a 25%er in the last 4 games and has a streak of a goal a game in each of those 4. The Rangers identical on their power play, and both teams are frustrated in their penalty kill. The Rangers only about 75% on their kill over recent games. But it is Ward dropping it back in. He and Betts come to the bench in a shorthanded change.
Second half of this Flyer power play, if they don't score on the first half, maybe better. Forsberg's on the bench resting.
Played on back now for Kapanen. When Peter Forsberg is in the lineup for the Flyers, they average 1 goal a game more scored. And a lot of that has to do with his passing, because he has about an assist a game average. Here it's Poti dropping it behind.
Mike, I wonder what it would be in goals against, too, because he's very good defensively. And I say that because generally he has the puck a lot.
Yeah.
So if the other team can't score.
Pitkanen lays it across. Big blast. Save made by Weeks on the shot that came screaming across. Twisted on by R.J. Umberger, who let that shot go. Trying then for Jeff Carter, and that careened out for a clear. Back out again by Marcel Hossa.
Here comes the big unit for the last 40 seconds for Philadelphia.
Hey, John, you know, the big boys are out now for the Flyers. The Rangers were not very strong clearing the puck on that last penalty kill. They'll have to be better against Forsberg's group.
They have Betts out along with Ward, and Forsberg nearly able to swagger by the defense, but a good cancellation by Polk, and now Forsberg sent one side to net, score! A new goal!
One 0 Philadelphia, power play goal. Mike Knuble, who was questionable to even be playing. You see him down by the net. He releases the pass by Forsberg, goes under Feder Tootin, and there's Knuble with his 4th power play goal of the season against the New York Rangers. Look at the pass underneath the sliding defenseman, and then Knuble put it back against the grain on Weeks. The impact of Peter Forsberg already showing in this game.
Primary assist on the goal by Knuble. Meyer gets the secondary assist. 34th by Knuble, 13th on the power play, Pierre.
Strong on the puck when you're the New York Rangers. That puck's got to come out of the zone. It didn't come out of the zone. That's why you saw all the white sweaters going north and the puck started going south. And that created the mini 2-on-1 down low that Knuble was able to capitalize on.
Olympic MVP Antero Niittymaki handled the puck there and seemed lonesome for it. He has not faced a shot yet. There have been 7 shots in the game, all off Philadelphia sticks. Moving ahead now and pivoting away is Marty Straka for Tootin, and the shot went over the glove hand of Niittymaki, who has now seen 8.5 minutes without a shot on goal, but probably isn't complaining. Kapanen leaned on a bit by Yager, and it's Desjardins. Well, the energy burn-off hasn't expired for the Flyers, has it?
No, it hasn't, and you saw the Flyers last game, and that was in New Jersey, and they had a dreadful start to their game. What a difference, right, Mike?
5 of the last 10 games for both of these teams. Only 5 have been wins, and both teams are bothered by slow starts. Pivoting to the outside now is Nedved. Able to escape Tootin. A centering pass was just away from Savage by Michael Handzus.
Sloppy at the Ranger bench right now because Jaromir Jagr's got a speed problem and they got a lot of different bodies standing up, so a little sloppy change.
Meanwhile, this one is blocked by Donald Brashear. The big winger hands it across and waits for the scale back in by Savage. Deflected further. A hit by Brashear, and he came up with the puck, but it started ahead by Straka. No Jagr because of what Pierre explained, so it's Ward with a shot that becomes the first one on goal with 10:18 to go in the first period. Hossa fed it on through, and a shot by Nylander is wide and covered by Niittymaki.
Well, it took almost half of the first period for the Rangers to register their first shot. It was a long shot that Niittymaki was able to handle. Again, Robert Esch was the starting goaltender for this game until he called Ken Hitchcock this morning, the head coach, and said, listen, I have a problem, the flu. I can't play. The flu's been going through this club. A number of the players, Handzus, Nedved, and now Esch have had it. And Robert Esch has been playing very well for the Flyers.
Puck back to the point for Tom Pote's pass, and the shot by Ozelinch is turned aside. Looked like it might have bounced off the mesh. Yes, and it did, so play is stopped. Tom Rennie, the coach of the New York Rangers, was asked before the game today the significance of this contest for his team.
I want to win this division first and foremost. This is a great game for us today. You know, it's practice a game, but I don't want to make it sound as though that's all we're out there doing. We want to win this game.
Well, they've won all 3 games they played in Philadelphia this season. The Flyers look very sharp early, halfway through at least this first period. They look very sharp.
At this time a year ago, Tom Rennie was an assistant coach for Canada at the World Championships. Of course, there was no Stanley Cup playoff last year due to the lockout. He succeeded Flyers coach Ken Hitchcock at Kamloops of the Western Hockey League. And they have known one another for quite a long time. Rathje lost it at the half boards. 9.5 to go first period. 7 shots for the Flyers, 2 for the Rangers.
See the energy that Ryan Holwig brings for the New York Rangers. A little shooting, forecheck, tries to create 2 or 3 chances. Good job by Holwig.
I think the whole line had a good shift with Moore and Pruka on it, and the Rangers need a lot more of that.
Peter Pruka, a 30-goal scorer as a rookie for the New York Rangers. The last guy the Rangers had to score 30 as a rookie was Tony Amonte, 91-92.
Actually having a goaltender in Lundqvist who's not playing today, winning 30 games, and a 30-goal scoring rookie is pretty good stuff for their organization.
When will Lundqvist play again, do you think?
I think Tuesday against Ottawa, the last game of the season for the Rangers. He's had a hip flexor muscle strain, and he's been practicing. In fact, practiced here in this building this morning prior to the game.
The New York Rangers want Colton Orr off the ice, and they get Jaromir Jagr on the ice to go against Forsberg. Now Orr just changed, but a little bit late. They're going to correct him. They want him off the ice quicker.
This is tapped away by Kevin Weeks, the goaltender. 10 road wins for him this year. Lundqvist, who has been the star for the Rangers this year, has had 9 road wins, but has not been able to play a lot lately. Just 1 win for him since the Olympic Games against one of the top echelon teams. If you take the top 8, he's 1-4-1 against those squads since the Olympics, but hampered by injury now. Desjardins dropped it back, and the shot is turned aside by Weeks. And the man who let it go, Simon Gagne, 45-goal scorer, went after the puck.
And he's had a lot of shots. He's had 320-some shots on goal, at least 100 more than anybody else on the team.
Simon Gagne is another one of these guys with a chance to hit 50 this year. 4 already have. Here is a feed to him, and the shot was off his stick and against the glass. 4 guys right now have already reached 50. Jaromir Jagr is one of them. He just passed it ahead to Marty Straka. Then up the wing to Sikora. Then back to Jagr. Wedged there by Nedved. Jagr trying to escape him. Jaromir Jagr cruising around behind. Gave it on to Straka, then took it back again. Jagr a shot, and it ricocheted off Straka's skate wide. Centering pass is tapped on carefully by Gauthier and eventually outletted.
And again, it's that defense pairing, Gauthier and Desjardins, to play against Jaromir Jagr. Earlier in the season, Hatcher had been on the left side against Jagr, but they've moved Darian Hatcher from left defense to right defense in this game. And that's where he used to play when he played all those years in Dallas with the Stars.
Rathje tried to force it, but into traffic. Pruka took it away, but was nearly canceled by Richards. Comes back at him again. Mike Richards, one of the members of the Calder Cup championship team here in Philadelphia with the Phantoms a year ago. The American Hockey League franchise that has produced so many players for the Flyers this year. 20 guys have come up from the American League. Donald Brashear is not one of those. He jostles for the puck that came loose off Richards and eventually is taken by the Ranger defense, but they can't do much with it. Still they work, and Ozolinsh saw it scale behind. Healthy hit occurred behind the net, but meanwhile, it's back on for Pruka. Tom Poti comes to the bench after that collision. Seems to be okay. Both teams make a change in line.
Big hit by Poti on Richards, and Richards appeared to be okay.
Darian Hatcher has played some on the right defensive position in his history. Ken Hitchcock said before the game he would take that position today. Currently he's not on it. He's the lefty and number 2 who lobs it back in. What's the difference between left and right for him?
He just thinks he plays better. He played many years in Dallas with Richard Matvichuk as his partner, and he just felt comfortable there. And the plan was to play him on the right side with Freddie Meyer, but we'll see as the game moves along which side he plays.
Skillful job by Malik on a hawkish forecheck by both Carter and Umberger, but an offside is called. 5:33 to go, first period. 1-0, the celebration by Mike Knuble. Text WIN to 81714 from your Sprint or Nextel phone for a shot at getting you and 10 friends into a game of the NHL Stanley Cup Final. Would that ever be fun? Well, here is Hatcher.
And again, Mike, the Forsberg line is on the ice against a young defenseman in Thomas Polk. He's playing in place of Darius Kasparaitis, the Rangers defenseman who's out with a groin injury.
Rangers are without Marty Rutschinski, Steve Ruchin. Good grab by Weeks on that hard shot from Freddie Meyer.
Yeah, Freddie Meyer, the left defenseman. Hatcher's playing over on the right side. Meyer made a good play on the power play goal that Knuble has on the pass from Forsberg, the only goal that we've seen scored in this period. Let's take a look at that play. And I neglected to mention the play by Meyer. The Rangers looked like they were going to move the puck out of the zone. Watch Meyer here. 34, Fred Meyer there, keeps the play alive. That's the turnover. Now all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1, and just gorgeous. The pass by Forsberg across to Knuble. Play never would have happened had Meyer not been able to keep the puck in his zone. That's a real good look at it.
Meyer, another one of those players who came up from the Philadelphia Phantoms this year, Pierre.
You know, John, though, it was a trend that was happening for the Rangers. That last sequence, too soft on the puck. You had guys cheating on the wrong side of the puck. They got to get on the defensive side of the puck rather than the offensive side.
What do you mean by cheating?
Moving up the ice, trying to capitalize and create offense rather than staying back and protecting in front of their goal. Be on the goal side of the puck, not on the offensive side.
And especially on the penalty kill.
Rangers with more trouble with the Flyer forecheck. Pody shoved it back to Straka, filtered it through again to Tom Pody, but rushing back in was Michael Hanzus, one of the better defensive players in the league. This one plopped on back to Dennis Gauthier. Latter stages, first period. The Rangers went the first 9:41 without a shot on goal. Face-off, they have been disadvantaged 6-3, scoring chances 7-0 Philadelphia in the game. Played back ahead by Yager, nearly run to the ditch by Gauthier.
Yeah, that's the play the Flyers want. Gauthier right in the face of Yager. And that time it wasn't his face. It was the south end of the body, not the north end.
Nedved tossed one that glanced off Weeks. Jani Pitkanen with the Flyers in the midst of a change. Rifled a pass ahead that's eventually played by Knuble to Gagne. Back to Knuble again. Gagne a shot. Oh, was he ever corked by Betts as he let it go. Now it is Rathjes. So one of the first big hits of this contest has come mid-ice. Not in a corner. Right back ahead comes Forsberg again. Little pass over to Gagne. Save made by Weeks. Oh, did he ever take the punishment to get the pass there? Played back on to Betts.
See that big hit on Gagne by Betts? All of a sudden Forsberg fires up. He makes a play taking a hit, then he throws another hit. That's the compete level that Peter Forsberg brings to the Philadelphia Flyers or any team he plays for.
Ahead Savage, but given up. Dominic Moore brought it ahead for the Rangers. Taken out of the play by Richards after he tossed it in. Thrown off by Hatcher. Another hit by Richards, this time on Tootin. Former captain of Harvard, Dominic Moore, sees Tootin come by to take it. Then to the back for Pope's shot that just did not get very far. As hobbled from that shot is Savage, limping to the bench.
Yeah, left leg injury.
Left leg. Brian Savage shaking up on that last shot block. His left leg is really bothering him right now. He's about 2 feet to my left, and he is in big-time pain on the bench.
Meanwhile, his mates are out there doing a good job of forechecking that the Rangers are finally able to break with a little pass for Colton Orr, able to snap it on by and go in to get it. Jostled off by Freddie Meyer. Fistic winger Colton Orr saw it played behind to Meyer, and twirling back now is Dimitrakos, and Orr comes to the bench for a change.
Orr against Brashear on the same shift, and it's nice to see the two of them. They just played the game, I think fully understanding how important the game is to both teams. Shots, by the way, 11-3 in favor of Philadelphia.
Meanwhile, the Rangers bring it ahead with a little over 2 minutes to go in the opening period. Rangers win this, they will have the Atlantic Division third seed in the Eastern Conference when the playoffs begin the latter part of next week. Opening action begins on Friday, and NBC proud to be there on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Carter moves in, fed it across, score! What a play by Carter to Dimitrakos.
The Philadelphia Flyers trapped Ozolinch at the other blue line. Now it's a 2-on-1, and the pass is gorgeous. The goaltender Weeks has no chance. Carter's pass had to go around the defender. Forehand, backhand, now the pass. Beautiful play. Ozolinch, the other defenseman for the Rangers, was trapped at the Flyer blue line, and that led to a 2-on-1. And the Flyers have been patient by playing good defense and then taking advantage of the Rangers getting trapped. And when they take advantage, you make plays like that, a gorgeous, gorgeous goal, a 2-0 lead.
You know, the Flyers did some real creative things at the trade deadline. One, adding Nico Dimitrakos, who just scored there, and how about adding Denny Gauthier on defense? A lot of people wondering if they didn't get enough big names. They got plenty of grit, though.
Here's a pass in front and a shot into the paraphernalia of Weeks by Nedved.
That was some save. That was a great shot as Yager did not pick up Nedved. Nedved was open, got the shot, and now there's a power play coming up.
Philadelphia will have it when we come back.
Well, look at the Peter Nedved scoring chance. He gets on the inside of Yager. There's the shot, terrific save by Weeks, and then Yager continued on over on the left side and ended up taking the penalty. There's Yager with Nedved. He's got him, but he stopped skating. Nedved's on the inside. Beautiful pass by Hanzus. And then the penalty was taken by Yager.
The hooking call at 18:29. 1-for-1 on the power play are the Philadelphia Flyers this afternoon. Dimitrako's goal came from Carter and Umberger at 18:09. Drive by Pitkin and ricochet back, and hobbled by that shot is Ward. Gagne back into Forsberg. Looks toward Knuble, tried to bounce one in front, and Weeks is able to pounce on it.
That was a pass that went off the skate of Malik, and Weeks had to be sharp.
Coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report, Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and Ed Olczyk with scores and highlights, as well as a look at the Detroit Red Wings, another President's Trophy championship this year. That's coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report. So Ward has departed, having taken the brunt of that shot.
It's only 1:19 to go in the period, so he won't be on the ice for another penalty kill. He goes back in, I would think, as you see him walking it off, but he could, if he needs to, put it in ice, whatever, with so little time left in the period.
Hossa on the draw with Forsberg that the Rangers are able to prevail on. Forced to step back is Betts, taken right away by Gagne, right back to Kapanen, it comes across for a drive that ricocheted wide from Pitkanen. Gagne took one and threw it off of Roosevelt. Meanwhile, Knuble in a lot of traffic, and Merrick Malik prevailed, sent one off of Pitkanen and into the Ranger bench area.
I think it's a pivotal power play for Philadelphia, and a pivotal penalty kill, more so for the Rangers. It's a 2-0 game here. If the Flyers pop one, it's 3, and that's big time towards the end of the first period.
First period has been a dominant Ranger period this year. 77 goals for to 55 against, a plus 22.
John, are you surprised the Rangers knew this was a critical game for them in terms of trying to clinch? They're being outshot 13-3 here in the first period.
No, the Flyers had such a great start to their game, and this will be the third straight game for the Rangers where they have not had a particularly good start. 2 nights ago they played in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins were the better team early. And here the Flyers have taken advantage of home ice.
Pitkanen gives it across. Kapanen there. Pitkanen a drive. It ricocheted off Knuble. Rebound scramble in front. Forsberg, while flat on his stomach, still trying for it. They still poke away, and eventually the whistle is blown by the referee, Dave Jackson.
Oh, Kevin Weeks. And I don't know if he's hurting there or what it is, but he made a couple of brilliant saves, and he looked to be uncomfortable. The initial shot hit one of the Flyers who was standing in front, and that's Knuble. Knuble is a player the Rangers haven't been able to handle as far as scoring goals on the power play near the goal net. There's Knuble in front. This shot's going to hit him. And now you see the shot by Forsberg and a second shot by Forsberg, and then Kevin Weeks is on his back. He's up now and seems to be okay. What a save that was by Weeks, or it would have been 3-0. This one hits Knuble. Forsberg's there, and what a spectacular save. Actually, Weeks reacted after it hit him. Brilliant saves.
You know, fellas, one of the things you have to pay attention to with the New York Rangers, a lot of teams around the league now think they can jam the crease, and they don't think the Ranger defenseman can move them, and that's why the big body of Knuble makes a difference.
They work it on the power play again. 12 chances to none, Flyers in the game. It's sent on back now to Pitkanen in the last 23 of the first period. Shot deflected wide as Peter Nedved let that go. Umberger gives back on to Carter. Tried to yank it onto Nedved. The second effort worked. Back to Pitkanen. Drive, and it went wide and cracked loudly off the boards. A cluster of players, and Kapanen able to finesse it away. Right back over is Nedved to brush it loose. Umberger battles there with Ozolinch, and the horn sounds. A successful first for the Flyers.
The Flyers played very nearly, aside from one penalty by Pitkanen, they played almost a perfect period. The best part of the period for the New York Rangers was their goaltender. They were outshot 15-3, and Weeks was good. The Flyers, it's the best I've seen them play as a team in a long time. What a difference Peter Forsberg makes.
And he is downstairs with Pierre.
Peter, how's the groin?
My groin is fine, it felt good. I've been wrestling a long time, I heard it last time I played against the Rangers. It's been a week and a half, so everything feels good today, it was fun to be back.
when you're playing with Simon Gagne, you're able to hold the puck a little bit longer? Is that because you know Gagne's got the outside speed to beat people?
Yeah, he got the speed to beat everybody. You know, it's great to play with him, and he's creating a lot of chances for us. You know, he's with his speed. You know, he's getting open, and I have to say, Knuble is doing a great job in front of net. He's always, you know, it's his office in front there, so he's been playing great. So it's fun to play with those guys.
Thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way, Peter. Doc.
Knuble is great at the front of the net. He got the first. There was another. Flyers 2, Rangers nothing. Stay tuned for the Dodge Intermission Report. Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, Ed Olczyk back in our studio at 30 Rock. You're watching the NHL on NBC.
Welcome to the Dodge Intermission Report. Here's your host, Bill Clement.
Major game you're watching in the Atlantic Division. The Philadelphia Flyers at the end of the first period up 2-0 on the New York Rangers. Another meaningful game in the Eastern Conference. The Atlanta Thrashers fighting for their playoff lives. The Bruins are in town.
Well, good opportunity here. Marco Sturm gives the Boston Bruins their second goal of the game. Arias Tchaikovsky scored the first one.
And then Andy Sutton deflects the Nicholas Havlicek shot to make it 2-1, and the Thrashers, who score all kinds of goals, it's Jim Slater beating Tim Thomas. Playing on his birthday is Tim Thomas, but it's 2-2 after one.
Tim Thomas, a 32-year-old rookie. He'll celebrate later, depending on how this game turns out. As we welcome you back to the studio, Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and Eddie Olczyk. Let's talk New York Rangers for a second, gentlemen. Ray, their coach Tom Renney this week said, we've got to commit to the things we did in the past to make sure we're as good in the future. What was he talking about?
Well, he's talking about attention to detail. Tom Renney coaches a style of hockey that is very responsible without the puck. The Rangers have gotten away from that. They have turned the puck over far too much. They miss Henrik Lundqvist in goal. And as well as they play without the puck, they have been hurting on the power play. Just 3 for 31 in April coming into this game.
Eddie, the Flyers are with Peter Forsberg today, but this season they've been without him 5 different times. He's missed 21 games. How deep could the Flyers go if he is not in their lineup in the playoffs?
Well, I think they have enough depth to win a round, but I don't think they can go very much farther than that. Peter Forsberg is probably the best all-around player in the National Hockey League. But when he has been out, you've had the likes of Carter. We saw the great pass that he made over to Dimo Chakos. You've had Richards, who's had a phenomenal year. They picked up Peter Nedved towards the end of the season. So their depth will certainly be able to be where they go to for the rest of the year. But the key is Peter Forsberg and Simon Gagne.
Peter Forsberg's health, absolutely an issue. We'll see how he does in the playoffs. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Detroit Red Wings. Several of them won gold medals in Torino. Now, they're absolutely looking for a Stanley Cup, and we'll be back with that story right after this.
This is the Dodge Intermission Report.
And welcome back to our studio. Bill Clement with Ray Ferraro and Eddie Olczyk. And gentlemen, the march to the Stanley Cup is just around the corner. As a matter of fact, 6 days from now, the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway. The Detroit Red Wings, with their league-leading 120 points, certainly one of the favorites. But less than 2 months ago, the focus for at least 5 Red Wings was on winning a gold medal in Torino.
Behind for Zetterberg. Score! A power play goal!
I've seen that Sweden power play someplace before.
All 5 out there are Red Wings. Kronwall got it back again. Score! Tied after 2, third period about to begin.
I was in the penalty box. I told Nick, shoot the puck. Good thing happens when you shoot the puck.
That's a good story. That's a good story if it was true. Dr. Korver broke his stick right off the face-off, and he went to grab another one. I think he was supposed to cover me.
A drive, score! Lidstrom, and it is 3-2 in favor of Sweden.
I don't think anybody expected to go in. Pretty far out, but I went in. It was great feeling to see that really important goal.
Sweden's 3 goals were all scored by members of the Motor City Quintet, helping drive them to gold.
The gold goes to Sweden!
All of us grew up watching World Championships and Olympics, so we're more dreaming of winning a gold. It's just a great feeling.
I wear it all the time. Oh yeah, I got it back in my pocket. So you want it? Yeah.
Wow.
Tomas Holmstrom knows how to have fun, doesn't he? Now the focus for all the Red Wings, obviously winning a Stanley Cup. They've clinched the President's Trophy as the top regular season team, so there's a lot to like about this group. What's at the top of your list, Ray?
Well, I like a couple of things. Number one, this is a team that never hurts themselves by taking unnecessary penalties. Number two, they have fabulous puck control, and with the new rules being enforced in the NHL, this is a tremendous advantage over most teams. And Eddie, they also have the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. I think he's going to win the Norris Trophy, and that's Nicholas Lidstrom.
Well, let's see. You need talent. They have that. You have chemistry, you have a good coaching staff. But I think it really starts with the veteran leaders on the Detroit Red Wings that accept and execute their roles, maybe in a little diminished role, because right now Zetterberg and Datsuk are the future of the Detroit Red Wings. But when you have your veteran players that will play 16 to 18 minutes and have a legitimate chance to win a Stanley Cup, and they want to be there, that's the key. You want to be on a team that isn't having any chance of winning a Stanley Cup and play 24 minutes? Pick your poison. I think you'd rather be in Detroit.
Awesome team any way you cut it. We want to let everybody know that we will have the Detroit Red Wings on NBC next weekend, but the playoff schedule isn't out yet, so we don't know if it will be Saturday or Sunday, but we will have them. We also know we'll have more hockey this afternoon as the NHL on NBC continues right after this.
This has been the Dodge Intermission Report. Dodge, grab life by the horns.
Let's take a look at our first period statistics brought to you by MasterCard. Overwhelming shots on goal 15-3. Scoring chances 12-0. But 15 minutes have passed. Maybe the Rangers can change it. We'll see in a moment. The NHL on NBC is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? By Michelin, a better way forward. By Vonage. Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution. And by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it. Carryover power play time for the Flyers at the outset of the second period. So will something have changed for the Rangers? This is cranked out of play into the Ranger bench area, and so very quickly after we start, we stop. Jason Ward is back out there now, so that's a healthy sign.
And Savage is back to the bench. He blocked a shot for the Flyers, so he's okay. Let me ask Pierre Maguire, with Jaromir Jagr part of the Rangers game, would you double shift him this early in the game?
I think you have to, John, especially being behind 2-0. The team only had 3 shots on goal in the first period. You got to get him going. Once he's in the game and energized, everybody else plays off his lead. He's the go-to guy on the Rangers. Get him out there every other shift.
Would it take away flow from the other guys?
I don't believe so, no. And I mean, they're used to that now. They know Jaromir Jagr is their meal ticket.
Do you sense that he's really into this in terms of wanting a double shift right now?
Absolutely. He wants it. He is just chomping at the bit now. He wants to get out there and rock and roll.
Pierre Maguire down where he can see and read the expressions on faces. Here's Roosevelt. Away from Gagne. It's nudged behind for Marek Malik. Teams are at full strength here. Early going second period. Estraka crosses at center and then had to fiddle one over to Jagr. Tried to return, but Gagne was in the way. Down to the ice he went, held by Jagr. Given across to Straka. Nice denial on him, though. And it's played back ahead by Peter Nedved, and eventually it comes up to Gagne to drop it back in.
When Straka gave Jagr the puck, immediately Gauthier was right there. So Jagr has not been able to skate into the offensive zone with full control of the puck.
Well, it's not new for Jagr to experience this at this time of year or playoff time. Wyatt Smith from the Islanders, Jay Pandolfo from the Devils. He has not scored in the last 5 games against New Jersey because they have focused on him. And we saw that with Dennis Gauthier the last time these two teams played.
One of the big things about playing the Devils with John Madden's line is he wins faceoffs. And so that takes the puck away from Jagr's line a lot of times. He's very, very good, and that's made a big difference. He was 11-4 against the Rangers, and a couple of nights ago he was 11-4 in winning faceoffs against the Philadelphia Flyers.
I noticed in one of those promos that we saw between periods that John's scarred face from 2003 was shown there. Interesting, they airbrushed that out when they did a poster of him. He didn't want it that way. He said, that's a battle scar. What did they do? Meanwhile, pinching along and bringing it back up is Dimitrakos, nicely stripped away by Nylander. Nylander moving on in, can't shovel the shot on goal as it went off a skate. Hossa to the back, poke a shot and a save made by Niittymaki, just now getting back to his feet as it's thrown on back to Poke at center.
Better start to the period, Nylander in particular for the Rangers.
Played along by Tutin, coming by as Poke, and then Puka. 2.5 gone second period with John Davidson and Pierre Maguire from Wachovia Center in Philadelphia. Mike Emmerich, a 2-0 dominating first period on the part of the Flyers. If they win, the Atlantic Division still up for grabs. 3 teams could win it. Forehand shot went wide by Savage. If the Rangers win, they have the Atlantic Division title for the first time since they won the Stanley Cup with Mike Keenan and the crew in 1994. To the back it comes for an angle try by Pitkin and the fail.
Some strange things in hockey, aren't there? The New Jersey Devils are pulling for the Philadelphia Flyers.
It is bizarre, isn't it? Stopping to think about it. Keenan was a guy who coached with both of these teams. Another of the 100-point seasons the Rangers had, 91-92, when the late Roger Nielsen was coach. And he coached both of these teams, too.
It is a 2-0 lead in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers. It was an odd man rush. Why? Because the Rangers had worked hard to try to recontrol the puck. 3 forwards up high, right? The puck's loose. Here comes the defenseman. All of a sudden, Ozolinsh couldn't get to the puck. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. Brilliant play by Carter to go around Pody. And there's the finish and a 2-0 lead.
Guess who's on the ice for the New York Rangers after the Flyers ice the puck? Jaromir Jagr, and this is a potential huge advantage for the Rangers right now with Sikora and Strock on the ice against tired Flyer players like Donald Brashear.
Flyers bring it out, though, and the pass went off Brashear. He doesn't bother with that. He wants to get to the bench.
And Pierre's right, but the problem with the Rangers there is the Flyers won the draw. They won the draw, moved the puck out, and changed everybody.
Here's Jagr, a shot, and a save made by Niittymaki, and back out they come. Simone Gagne up the wing. He's got Knuble the trailer, but can't get by Marek Malik. Forsberg moves in, the 5th man in this cluster of players, and it came to him. Forsberg tried to swagger away from Roosevelt, no luck there. Right back to poke it to the point, where it is held by Gauthier, and a shot is cut off by Nylander and banked on out. Up with it is Gauthier, nudged it back, but it's just taken right away by Jaromir Jagr. 122 points, co-leader in the NHL. 54 goals, the leader in that department. And in a couple of others, too. He is second in shots on goal, though, to Alexander Ovechkin, who has 50 more than Jagr coming into today's play.
I've mentioned this a few times. The league record NHL shots on goal in one season is 550. Phil Esposito.
550. Imagine. And Ovechkin comes in just a little over 400 today. Here's a pass that's deflected across. Phil Esposito, who centered the Don line, as it was known. The Mafia line, I think they also called it. Don Maloney, Don Murdoch. An Italian and 2 Dons was what it was defended as. And they were pretty good. But meanwhile, back ahead, it is pitched back in by Colton Orr. Big finger goes in and is collided with Freddie Meyer, and Meyer able to come up with it and lay it along out of Hansus. We get character names on lines anymore, I wonder?
Not often. Lines aren't together very often. Usually a centerman and a winger, and the other winger usually rotates. You don't see threesomes together very often anymore for hockey lines.
If you get it, then all of a sudden nicknames evolve. But here's Nylander ahead, on back to Pody. Couldn't shovel it through as Freddie Meyer was in the way. Hossa turned it on to Jason Ward. On the cycle, it comes back to Nylander. Canceled out by Ward, but right there was Hossa. Shovel shot, knocked down in front by Meyer. Not much is getting through. Here's a 2-on-1. Carter in. Send it across. Score! Umberger. 3-0.
A youthful mistake by the Rangers, and the Flyers youth makes some great plays. Fedor Tutin is a left defenseman. He's already trapped, and that leads to an on-man rush. What a brilliant fake shot pass to take down Weeks. And again, Carter sets up a 2-on-1 goal. Carter fakes a shot. Weeks goes down anticipating it, and there's the pass across. And the slam dunk goal by Umberger. Carter with 2 brilliant assists. Fedor Tutin, the young defenseman, got trapped inside the Flyers zone, much like Ozolinsh did earlier, and that set up a 2-on-1.
You know why he got trapped, John? They were trying to get Tom Pody off the ice so they could get Thomas Polk on the ice. Fedor Tutin usually doesn't play on that side, so they had a problem, some miscommunication, and they got hung up on the Ranger bench. That led to a big-time 2-on-1. Poor communication and bad judgment in terms of changing on the fly.
Well, is Jeff Carter ever a playmaker? When you can have a guy come up as a rookie and do this, be a part of the championship team with the Philadelphia Phantoms a year ago. Here's a chance in front, and a wonderful stop by Niittymaki. Another try, and that deflected wide as the Flyers guilty of a turnover. And the first really bona fide great Ranger chance of the game.
Niittymaki made the big save. He seemed to have a little trouble handling the puck, but he recovered in time. Brilliant save.
Jani Pitkinen dribbled it back in. Tutin canceled out. But plenty of reinforcement this time. Boy, jolted off after that pass was Polk. He gets up, but he seems to be all right. Looks like he might have gotten up slowly, but he's fine to stay out there now for the Rangers. As this is Desjardins taking the toss from Pitkinen. Giving ahead to Knuble, back across and run off on the play, but illegally was Brashear. There will be a penalty coming up against the Rangers. Early stages, second period, Flyers by 3 and a chance for more.
Marek Malik in the penalty box. You're going to see him right in here with Brashear. The stick comes up, clips him across the left cheekbone. No question, high sticking call. Malik in the penalty box.
So it's the third Flyer power play of the day. One for the prior two they are. As this one is forced behind for the toss back down the ice that comes from Strudwick. So Niittymaki pushes it around behind. The shots are 16-7. In this period, 4 for the Rangers, 1 for the Flyers. Flyers with the decided advantage in shots and most other of the statistical departments here.
But the only shot the Flyers had, Mike, was a 2-on-1 with Tootin getting trapped.
Here's Moore with a nice move, but it failed at the last moment. Looked pretty good one against 2 there, didn't he?
He had a good play. He's a good penalty killer, time with Dominic Moore.
Blair Betts is out now to try to force the Flyers back deeper. Succeeded that much as we're down to 45 seconds gone on the Ranger kill. Now gliding ahead is Forsberg. Trying to step by, still kicking to control and holds. Back it comes to Pitkinen. Fakes the drive and gives over to Freddie Meyer. Then to Forsberg. Nice protection of the puck. Hands back on to Meyer. Drive! And that one kicked right back to Pitkinen. At the front of the net, Knuble as well as Gagne now. Pitkinen to the outside, gets it back from Meyer. Fell while throwing one that's dug out by Knuble and handed to Forsberg. Then back to Mike Knuble again. Sammy Kapanen hands over to Pitkinen. Then back across to Gagne. Front of the net, Knuble to the outside. They tried for Forsberg. That didn't work, but Forsberg got it again. Gagne back to Pitkinen. Drive deflected away by Blair Betts. 25 left on the power play. Mike Knuble settled back to the point for Pitkinen. Fakes the drive and hands it across. It's fed for Pitkinen and the shot is knocked down neatly and swept back out, but injured is Betts.
Left arm injury, and then Pitkinen, he can bring it. He has a big time heavy slap shot. Betts gets to the bench and it seems to be okay, but that left arm seemed to block the shot.
The Ranger bench is totally excited after that Blair Betts shot. That's a guy sacrificing for the good of the team. Maybe that can help them generate some momentum, fellas, but the whole bench really up because of that shot blocked by Blair Betts.
Hey, it was a courageous play, and he is still hurting. Still hurting. Here comes a Pitkinen shot. It's a down low shot. Betts goes down and wham, right? Ooh, off the inside it appeared to the left arm. I think that's what it was.
Has he got any protection there at
all? Not a whole lot. No, not off the inside. Take a look at the Flyers' last goal. You see the shot coming from the defense. All 4 Rangers here. There's the loose puck, and again, it's a defenseman getting picked off, but still, he shouldn't have been in. That was the young player, Fedor Tootin, and it's a 2-on-1, and a gorgeous play by Carter again. Carter's made the plays with 2 2-on-1 goals that are just beautiful, beautiful passes. But it's the patience of the Flyers defensively that is, and the Rangers getting too impatient offensively, and the Flyers have counted.
Time for sprint sounds of the game. Let's listen to Dennis Gauthier, the defenseman for the Flyers.
Behind you, Rico, down low! Down low, Rico!
When he was yelling there, down low, Rico. Rico is Eric Desjardins. That is his defense partner's nickname. And he was saying down low. Down low is down towards the goal line, in the corner, or the backboards, or the net. So that was Gauthier talking to his defense mate.
Well, Terry Murray's not messing around. He's changing the defense for the Flyers. Denny Gauthier right back on the ice against Yager, Straka, and Sikora.
Played in by Straka, settled down by Niittymaki. It careened over to Michael Handzus. Handzus nudges it on, and it's sent further by Gauthier. And brought back on by Desjardins, and a rising backhander missed the short side and careened up into the mesh. Well, you talk about 2 defensemen up. Gauthier at center ice, and then the chance for Desjardins.
Well, Dennis Gauthier now with the Flyers traded over from the Phoenix Coyotes. He hits it against the Rangers. Here's that hit there was Gauthier was given a suspension on the play, but he's a physical player who, as long as he stays on his side of the ice and doesn't get running around too much, taking himself out of the play, can be very effective. And in this game, he has been in the face of Jágr. When Jágr has stayed on the right side of the ice, Gauthier's been there. Now, Jágr sometimes will go to the near side, which is the opposite side, and try to challenge maybe another defenseman.
This is Straka. Lost, and then it's squibbed away from Niittymaki on the rebound, and eventually is sent back off and can be brought back ahead by Nedved. Fanning out his Kapanen. The drop comes to Hanzus. Back for Nedved. He scores!
You know, the Rangers looked at the goaltender right in here, mishandling the puck. It's loose, but the Flyers are all back defending. That's patient defensive play. Beautiful pass up ice off the sideboards, and Nedved will have a mini give and go with Hanzus. Wasn't that a nice play again?
Outstanding.
Nedved will give the puck to Hanzus right here, and then he'll go get himself open, and watch the brilliance of Hanzus. Backhand pass right on the blade, shot through traffic, and it's a 4-0 deserved Flyers lead.
Hey, the unselfish guy in that whole play, Sami Kapanen driving to the net. That opens up the whole scene for Hanzus to pass Nedved the puck.
There'll be a penalty coming up against Philadelphia here. Kapanen gets the secondary assist, Hanzus the primary on Nedved's 7th of the year.
So it'll be a Rangers power play, and Jágr just went to the Rangers locker room with the equipment manager, probably a skate problem, and that was after the last goal that was scored by Nedved.
So 4 goals by the Flyers. They'll be shorthanded when we come back.
The New York Rangers are down 4-0 in this game, and their best player, Jaromir Jágr's gone to the dressing room. He's been having skate problems most of this afternoon's game, so he's probably gone in to add some kind of edge to his blade. Jim Ramsey, the physical trainer for the Rangers, standing right to my right. He's not with Jágr, so Jágr should not have an injury situation. Power
play underway for the Rangers. Sikora dealt it back on for Peter Pruka. Nylander is out there as well and takes this. Nylander wanted to step by Rathje, but canceled out there, so he has to dart back and play on to Sikora. Peeling in is Ozolinsh from the opposite side. They still play strong side, and it comes on back for a wrister by Straka that careened over to Ozolinsh, then sent behind for Sikora. Nylander again. Pruka near the front of the net, jostled there by Hatcher. Meanwhile, Ozolinsh fed it across. Here's a shot that is fanned on mostly by Nylander. Very little lumber on that. And it's turned over. Good protection for Richards, and he sends it flying back down. Peter Nedved, you talked about faceoffs and possession. That's the first faceoff he's lost. He is 9 for 10 on faceoffs, Nedved. Jaromir Jágr has come back to the bench area. Meanwhile, it's Hossa again. Hands back to Straka. Watched there by Kapanen. Played back across to Hossa again. Shooting one that just ricocheted off the leg of Desjardins. He's got the experience out there right now, the Flyers do, but of course the Rangers will have that forthcoming. 34 seconds to go on this man advantage. Fed in front for a shot, save, Niittymaki, rebound in front, score! Hossa was able to backhand it in, and the Rangers have gotten on the board.
Well, there was a couple of great saves. Great saves by Niittymaki, and finally Hossa able to find a way to score. And Hossa gets the backhand goal to get on the board for the Rangers. That's Straka working with Ozolinsh. Good pass down low. There was a save and there was a save. And then Moore moved the puck back to Hossa. He was able to score. Hossa now for the Rangers has scored in 2 straight games. You can see the Rangers outnumbered the Flyers down low because of the power play. That's a 3-on-2 there. And Hossa finally able to tap it over the line. The Rangers get one. And with that happening, Jágr had returned to the bench, tested his skate. I think he's ready to go.
Dominic Moore gets the first assist, the second to Jason Ward on the goal by Hossa. So a power play goal from largely unexpected sources, but the Rangers will certainly take it at this point. Full strength action here. The shots are 17-10 in favor of Philadelphia in the game. Knuble, Dimitrakos, Umberger, and Nedved have scored for the Flyers. Hossa just now for the New York Rangers, and they're able to move it back out. Blair Bett's pass was away from Kruka, sent right back ahead by Freddie Meyer. Ryan Holwig is out on the left wing now, along with Blair Bett for the Rangers. The other side is Kruka. Malik passes to him, laid across for Betts to bring ahead. Betts a shot and a save made by Niittymaki. Holwig banged into Freddie Meyer. Meanwhile, Knuble comes back. Gives on to Gagne, laid it across for Hatcher. Hatcher a shot, and that blocked down to the defense. Thomas Pope got in the way of that as Forsberg feeds Gagne, and the shot turned aside by Weeks and lifted back off the short glass. Rangers making a change now. Moving back up is Jaromir Jagr. He's out there. They got the change completed that they wanted. It's cleared out of play, out of the defensive end. And the ruling is...
He went up over top of the Flyers bench. It's being discussed now. I think it's a penalty. It'll be a penalty for shooting the puck into the stands from the defensive zone, and Thomas Polk will go.
Very interesting in that last situation. Dave Jackson, number 8, the official, looks at David Brisebois, the other official, and says, where did that go over the glass? And Brisebois said it went over on the defensive side of the glass. That's why the penalty's been called. Great communication between the linesman, Brisebois, and the referee Jackson.
Yeah, Jagr's having a beef about it now with the official, but Polk was inside his own zone. He fired it up and over the glass. Even though it was the bench area, it still went over the back glass. And because of that, it's an automatic black and white rule. Oh boy, the young gal got the puck into the chin. She looks like she's tough though, huh?
Yeah.
Oh goodness, there's an ice pack being handed to her. She doesn't want to leave. Good for her.
All right, power play on for Philadelphia now. This is Ozolin, cleared it on through. I'm guessing that the Ranger argument might have been Hanzus reached for that puck as it was being cleared. I think they thought that maybe he had gotten a piece of it.
Hanzus did reach for it, but it didn't go off the stick, clearly straight into the crowd.
Played on now by Nedved. That one banked on back. Guided right back, and Kapanen floats it free. Nice crossover, and then it's back to Kapanen. He's got Pitkanen nearby as the other point man. Swirling to the outside and shooting one is Carter. Carter, the leading scorer in the American Hockey League playoffs last year. Did not play a full season coming up to them. Cleared back down.
He's had a brilliant game here so far this afternoon. And you think of a guy like Carter and Umberger on the same line. There's kids, Richards. The Flyers have had some great play from their young players, especially with the injuries they've had all season. These kids have been asked to play. It's been tough sometimes, but what an experience for them.
Carter just 21. Here is Pitkanen with it, firing, and that one went off Mike Knuble and wide. Here's Forsberg feeding one to the back. Meyer a shot, and that one went wide through a screen. And back out again.
What a huge difference between the Flyers tonight and the Flyers in their last game against the New Jersey Devils. And a major reason why, obviously, Peter Forsberg. Another major reason why, the intensity level on their bench. It's electric down here.
Rattled on around for Straka, and he lobbed one that came right back out to Mike Knuble, but we get a stoppage of play as the puck had been played by a high stick. The face-off will come all the way back down near Antero Niittymaki. Well, Ken Hitchcock, before the game, had a chance to discuss that power play player that he got in Peter Forsberg. Here's what he had to say.
There's Peter Forsberg, the player, which is really important, but the one that's just as important, or maybe even more so, is Peter Forsberg, the presence. His presence inside our locker room, when he enters a facility, when he sits inside the locker room, everybody pays notice, everybody stands to attention because of his presence, his expertise, and obviously his own play.
He is all business. Another comment of Hitchcock's about Forsberg.
You know, it's interesting, Mike, coaches can say what they want players to do things, but sometimes it doesn't register. But when you have a great player that can do things like that, there's been some over the years. You think of a guy like Forsberg.
Hard shot by Desjardins. Rebound. Oh, and it went off the stick of Weeks as it was tossed to the net by Hanzus. Now Kapanen in traffic. And the Rangers can bring it on, and Jaromir Jagr leads it ahead. 5 minutes left to go, second period. Flyers, to stay alive in the Atlantic Division race, need this one. They've been pretty strong in it so far with the first 4 goals of the game in the first 30 minutes of play. Putin able to step by Hanzus' reach. Straka in front, had his stick lifted by the experienced Eric Desjardins, and another chance flew up over the net. Van Hatcher, but Nylander.
All the Flyers have to do now is play smart defense. And the Rangers will try to pressure, maybe make a mistake.
Here's Nylander hitting the outside of the goal, and the rebound sped wide by Nylander. Yager tried to take care of Nedved, but it came back ahead for a slam back from center by Desjardins. So just concentrate on defense.
And then counter.
Straka's shot, or check that, Hosa's shot was blocked back down. No, I was right the first time, Straka. Through the legs of Straka and off the board. See, I'm glad my tax accountant does a better job of it than I do with what he does. Nudged on now.
You hope.
Yeah, we were going to figure the permutations of all the races, but we couldn't find a tax accountant that was not busy today. It is the 15th of April. Everything's due on Monday. Sorry to bring it up. Now it's Richards. Richards leads for Savage, but it bounced off Ozelin, and then it played around and worked on further by Blair Pest. Do you see any change in the Ranger play this period?
Not a lot, other than well, they're a little better in their own zone for sure, and they had a couple of penalty kills that were necessary, but the Flyers are trying to play a smart game without the puck, and if the Rangers have to press, and they do, they're down 3-1, the Flyers will counter. And that's how they scored the goal by Nedved when one of the defensemen got trapped. There's another play here.
R.J. Umberger threw one that hit the outside of the net off Malik's stick. Umberger out of Ohio State plays it back along to Jeff Carter. Key to the city in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Wonder if Celestino had one. To the back it comes to Desjardins. On across to Gauthier, and the shot was deflected wide as Carter had reached at it. Good take by Dimitrakos, plays it back into Carter, fans it out, and floats one across that Dimitrakos chases down. More puck possession by Philadelphia, and eventually Desjardins.
The kid line for them that gets it done, Pierre.
You know, fellas, terrible change again by the Rangers on the defensive side of the puck. And that's something that's got Perry Pern very upset.
Here comes Sikora on a breakaway. Save, Niittymaki! Oh, a chance to turn the game around, and Niittymaki came up large. Here's Forsberg. The guy rattled it off the pipe. Centering pass to Newell. Save Weeks. Another save Weeks. Played along to Jaromir Jagr. Helter Skelter. Little toss to center, and Gagne hands it across. Pitch back in by Forsberg. Listen to the crowd. Rathje a drive. Shrugged off by Weeks. Gagne. Then across. Got it again. Hoping for goal number 46 on that play, but emerging is Straka, and the fans applaud again at the attack by Philadelphia. Sikora shot. Canceled out by Niittymaki. Well, that's it for a goaltender, isn't it? When he can make the save, he really has to make it.
And he did. He hasn't had a ton of work, but he made the save off of Sikora, who's a good breakaway goal scorer.
Turnover, Jagr. Hanzus wedged down to the play and spun. A big awe goes up from the crowd as Jagr comes back. Has trouble again. This time it's wedged to the back by Nedved and shot by Kapanen in front. Hanzus couldn't get there. A penalty will be coming up against the Rangers.
Sikora on the breakaway. Niittymaki kicks it out with his right leg, or the Rangers would have closed it to 2. And then it was Kevin Weeks' turn.
Misters Clement, Ferraro, and Olchek will be along in the Dodge Intermission Report. Scores and highlights. Look at the upcoming playoff for the Stanley Cup. That's all in our Dodge Intermission Report. Power play on the minor to Ozelin for hooking. Peter Forsberg dealt it along. Gagne up with it there. Rifles it to the back. Pitkinen fakes and gets away from Betts. Then off the boards it comes to Gagne.
Boy, big Mike Knuble in front. What a load. Get tough to move him.
Gagne dealt. Forsberg took. Moved one in front, and it's poked at not once but twice by Gagne. Despite having been injured earlier, Blair Betts was ready to go down on that Pitkinen shot, but he faked his way around it. Then to the back, Pitkin again. Challenged a bit by Ward. Right back it comes for Kapanen. Spun back to Forsberg. Fakes and fires and got the glass as Knuble was working his way through the phone booth in front. Forsberg pulls away from one, dealt it off to Gagne, slides it at Knuble. One twice, and he could not get it home.
He might have hit the goalpost. If the puck didn't hit the goalpost, the stick certainly did. And that's the end of the second period. It's a 4-1 Flyer lead. Very close to being 5-1.
Dennis Gauthier down with Pierre.
Dennis, your 15th game as a Flyer. What's it like to play hockey in this city?
Hi, this is unbelievable. They're just listening to the crowd. They just see what's going on right now. They're in playoff mode. We got to follow suit.
One of the biggest matchups for this game, clearly, you and Jaromir Jagr. How hard is it to play against Jaromir Jagr?
Well, he's very tough. He can beat in so many ways. He's very big and strong, but also he's got great hands, good speed. So you're never going to shut him down completely. You just got to limit his chances.
Congratulations on the new contract. Keep her going. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, Buck.
Take care. Mike, back to you.
Dennis Gauthier with Pierre Maguire. 2 periods have been played here. The end of the second with the Flyers ahead of the Rangers 4-1. The Dodge Intermission Report with Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, Ned Olczyk at 30 Rock. You're watching the NHL on NBC.
Welcome to the Dodge Intermission Report. Here's your host, Bill Clement.
The Philadelphia Flyers have lost 3 of their last 4 home games, but they got it revved up this afternoon at home against the Rangers. At the end of the second period, they lead them 4-1. In another game that is very meaningful to the Atlanta Thrashers, Boston is in town.
Atlanta has always played loosey-goosey hockey, and they get burned here. Travis Green way out in front of the pack. Beautiful move. He beats Mike Dunham, and the Bruins, who have 17 shots on goal through 2 periods, lead by 1.
And still a lot to be decided in the Eastern Conference. We welcome you back to the studio. Bill Clement with a couple of gentlemen that combined for 752 goals in the NHL.
If you add them up, yep, that's what you get.
My $1.48 doesn't cut it today, does it, compared to you guys? Ray Ferraro and Eddie Olczyk will show you the Eastern Conference standings. I mentioned that the Atlanta Thrashers have a meaningful game today. You can see them down in 9th. They're trying to make the playoffs. Carolina and Ottawa tied for number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Ray, let me ask you something about the Ottawa Senators. They got a lot of their defensemen back in the lineup, but there is still a health issue there, is there not?
There certainly is. Crucial, as you mentioned, Billy, that they get their defensemen back in the lineup. Chara, Redden in particular, along with Phillips. But Dominic Hasek has not played since the Olympic break with a groin injury. He practiced for just 10 minutes on Friday. He was expected to practice full-time with the team. He took himself off the ice, not feeling good enough to continue. The hope was Hasek would play the last regular season game Tuesday against the Rangers. If he is out of the playoffs, this really brings the Senators back down towards the rest of the pack. Ray Emery would have to be their goaltender.
We know how important goaltending is in the playoffs. Eddie, pick 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that are where they want to be right now with their goaltending.
Well, is there a team hotter than the New Jersey Devils?
No.
And you have to start with Marty Brodeur. Absolutely, in my opinion, the best goaltender in the National Hockey League. I'm sure Ray would probably argue maybe with Mika Kiprusoff out in Calgary. But
yes, I would.
I would like Brodeur to be on my team, that's for sure. And then again, the issue of the injury aspect with Hasek. He hasn't played a lot of hockey in a long time, so that ends up putting me in a decision of putting up the Philadelphia Flyers and Robert Esche for the top 2 goaltenders in the Eastern Conference. But the only way you get experience is by playing. Those other 6 teams, live inexperience.
A lot to be determined down the stretch, and some teams that have no experience in goaltending in the playoffs, and we'll see how that plays out. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the Western Conference playoff picture. But first, we'll step aside for these messages.
This is the Dodge Intermission Report.
Another afternoon of hockey here on NBC. We welcome you back to our studio. Bill Clement with Ray Ferraro and Eddie Olczyk. The Stanley Cup playoffs get underway this coming Friday. We know who's going to make the playoffs in the Western Conference, Jansen. Everybody is asking, at least out west, one question. What happened to the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, they should ask, because this was a preseason Stanley Cup pick as a Stanley Cup contender. But they've had chemistry issues in their locker room all season long. Their star player, Todd Bertuzzi, does not get along with the head coach, Mark Crawford. There will be a house cleaning in Vancouver this summer.
So Vancouver misses the playoffs. The Detroit Red Wings have won the President's Trophy as the league's top team in the regular season. Who should they fear in the Western Conference?
Fear? Shouldn't fear anybody. They have talent. They have confidence. they respect everybody in the Western Conference. That is the key.
Well, they should respect.
Ray, don't point at me.
Well, I'm pointing at you because you may be wrong. So they better watch out for the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars are a terrific team. They have two solid lines, a 40-win goaltender in Marty Turco. They're as deep as anybody.
But they would have to end up going to the conference finals to come up head-to-head against the Dallas Stars. So you don't think, even as hot as Anaheim has been, the San Jose Sharks, any of the other teams that have really put together late-season pushes, that the Detroit Red Wings shouldn't have their heads up in anticipation of facing anybody but Dallas?
Well, I think that they understand the situation, and they are the favorites in the Western Conference. But again, it comes down to the goaltending, and we touched about it in the first intermission about the poise and the character that they play with and the discipline that they play with. So again, matchups are very difficult. And once the playoffs start, anything can happen.
Eddie, I don't think their goaltending is going to be an issue in the first two series. If they get to Dallas, it may be an issue, but Manny Legacy is every bit as good as the teams that they will more than likely face in their first two series.
So it's safe to say that you guys agree that the Dallas Stars and the Detroit Red Wings have really good teams. Is that where it ends?
Solid teams. They're clearly the top two teams.
And I think both those teams can play. I think the key is a lot of people don't realize both those teams can play both ways. Want to dump it in, chase, physical, or they can play a wide open style.
They hope to be playing a long time. We do know that. And a quick programming reminder, coming up after hockey, we'll bring you snowboarding, the 2006 Burton U.S. Open Snowboarding Championships, featuring the Flying Tomato Olympic gold medalist Shaun White. It is his 8th snowboarding event of the season, and get this, he's won the previous 7, including the gold medal in Torino. And that is coming up at 4:30 Eastern, right after hockey. And our coverage of the NHL and NBC will definitely continue right after this.
This has been the Dodge Intermission Report. Dodge, grab life by the horns.
Flyers dominating through 2 periods, 4-1 lead. This is the 4th goal. Beautiful pass from Hans Zustu. Peter Nedved, 4-1 Flyers through 2.
Earthlink stats show 24 shots to 15, 21 scoring chances to 8, 1 scoring chance, 1 shot for Jaromir. The NHL on NBC is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By AOL. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL. By Power Bar Triple Threat. It fuels like a power bar, tastes like a candy bar. And by Sprint, official wireless provider of the NHL. Power play to resume for the Flyers at the beginning of the third here. Ozelinch still in the box on his hooking rack. Ken Hitchcock was talking before the game about the combination of R.J. Umberger, Jeff Carter, and Nico Dimitrokos, and how wonderfully they've played, despite the fact that the top 6 forwards have been decimated by injuries from time to time, including that man Mike Knuble, who was a question mark today. Drive by Pitkin, rattled off the crossbar, and is brought back ahead by Ward. The line I mentioned has played 15 games together, and they have come up with 20 goals in that.
Well, they're all +2 in this game. All 3 of the forwards you mentioned, Mike. Pitkin, we were talking earlier, what a shot he has, and we just saw it at the crossbar.
Gagne played one through, and that went wide. Mentioned earlier, too, in the intermission, that Jaromir Jagr has 1 shot, 1 scoring chance. Desjardins with a headhunter that got the mesh, and play is stopped. The iron is part of the goalie's equipment, isn't it?
It is, and Pitkin looks up. I better shoot this one high. Oh, it deflected. That's what it was. It deflected right up off the crossbar and back in behind. I think the entire building and half of Philadelphia heard this.
Now, as an old goaltender, do you know
sound.
do you know different sounds though?
Oh yeah, that was a great sound. The other sound was great when it hit the glass. That means it went by your net. And the other one, this is going to sound silly, but you actually could hear a puck if it whizzed by your ear. You hear it, the puck actually searing the air as it goes right by your ear. If it just misses your head, you can actually hear it.
And you're more attuned to that if you're a goalkeeper, right?
Well, that's what the Ranger players are saying to Blair Betts. If you're going to block it all the way.
Jagr filters it through. Sikora bit one in front, and it went away from Nylander as checking him was Nedved. Bounced onto Jagr again. Teams back at full strength early third period. Jagr turning at it, knifed away by Dennis Gauthier.
Now Gauthier put a hip into Jagr.
bouncer came into the catching glove of Niittymaki. You know, earlier we were talking about some of the forwards and the job that they had done on Jágr this year. The defense has done it too. In this case, Gauthier.
Yeah, that was a hip on hip. That was a hip. That was a south end of Gauthier moving right into Jágr, and it was a good hit. So Jágr hasn't had time and space with the puck at all in this game. So he's got the puck, and there's Gauthier. He's got the puck. That was the only shot that he's had in the game. There he is again, and that was Gauthier. There's another play with Gauthier near him. He has not had time to get the puck and then to be able to skate with any space, any time. It's been closed off immediately. Gauthier's played well. Gauthier does for the Flyers exactly what Kasparaitis could do for the Rangers. Only Kasparaitis not playing because of a groin injury.
I think the definition is put the fear of God in you out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You keep your head up when you know those guys are out there. And Gauthier hits and Kasparaitis hits.
Colin White winds up against him a lot when they play the Devils. Radek Martinek against him some when they play the Islanders. Some more jostling, and taking this as one of the lead jostlers for the Flyers, and big Donald Brashear, but this is given up to Ward, who just crisply played it out to Straka, fiddled off his stick by Savage, brought back on by Richards, and Richards shot one that was blocked aside by Ozolinsh. Sandis Ozolinsh turns away from the lean of Donald Brashear, who closed him off. And then it's held by Roosevelt. 15 members of the Ranger roster from Europe, and the top 6 scorers on the team. So they knew what they were doing. But today it has come up empty for them.
Jaromir Jágr now being double shifted with a new center iceman, Michael Nylander, on the ice with Jágr.
They are not unfamiliar, but today they have been. Jágr feeds it across, turning with it and setting it up for Sikora was Nylander. That one scaled along for the brush right back in deep by Thomas Polk. Austrian-born defenseman saw this come right back out on his stick at center. It's only the Atlantic Division title. The Rangers with a big comeback to win it all outright today. That one was shrugged away by Niittymaki. Got a shoulder on that strong shot from Peter Sikora. And Sikora right back again. Right it around in front. Forehand shot by Nylander. Went just over the stick of Niittymaki.
Niittymaki's made a couple of great saves here. This is the best shift that Jágr's line's had all game. On the last play with Nylander in front, Jágr was right there, and I don't think Nylander saw him.
And let's not forget the big save he made at the tail end of the second period off Sikora, John. That was spectacular.
That was potentially a game breaker, and that may seem hard to swallow in a 3-goal advantage for Philadelphia, but all of a sudden it's a 4-2 game, and there's the general feeling going around the bench or in the arena
that was the breakaway.
that they're coming on.
Oh boy.
There will be some more coming up here as a crowd gathers.
Ryan Hallweg put a hit into Forsberg, and the Flyers didn't like it. And then Ryan Hallweg got double teamed, and the referees are going to be handing out some penalty minutes here. Forsberg got hit. It was a clean hit. But the Flyers want to protect their player, and they're willing to take penalty minutes to do it.
Ryan Hallweg plays on the edge and sometimes over it.
Ken Hitchcock was saying today the Flyers have a player in their organization by the name of Ben Eager. He says he plays just like Hallweg does, only he's got a little more offensive skill. It'd be interesting to see how they call this. There was an official. Jackson was right down there near it. It was a good, clean, from what I could tell, a solid, mean, but clean hit by Hallweg on Forsberg. Let's take a look at it. Forsberg has the puck. He turns around, and there's Hallweg's hit. It's just a clean hit. Here comes Knuble from behind, and then you're going to see him go back at him. And here comes Gagne. They're protecting their centerman. But it was a clean hit. No question. Forsberg hit the puck and he got hit. And then he got double teamed and triple teamed by the Flyers. So it'll be some penalty minutes here. What they'll be, I don't know. And if it's power play time, it's the Rangers' only chance to try to get back into the game. Forsberg's okay. Hatcher's talking to the referee. Tom Rennie's talking. Jackson was the referee down there, not Kerry Fraser. So Jackson's over talking to both Hatcher and one of the Rangers. That looks like Jágr there. There's 2 Flyers in the box and Hallweg. And I don't know what Hallweg's in there for. It was a clean hit. Pierre?
It was a clean hit, John, in my opinion. And you know, the most, I think, devastating part of that hit was the way Mike Knuble came in with the cross-check on Ryan Hallweg. But Peter Forsberg, such an important member of this team, the Flyer players, when that whole thing happened, said, don't let him go, get on him, get on him. And the Ranger guys were all standing up saying, support Holwig. And that's why the face will eventually come outside. That was a big play, obviously, in terms of the Flyers showing how important Peter Forsberg is. Now, Forsberg comes in. You watch Holwig come in. Arms are down. It's a shot to the chest. There's the hit by Knuble from behind. And then the cross-check and Gagne comes in. Just watch. Holwig squares up. It's arm into chest. The one devastating hit, and then Gagne comes in. Gagne comes in with the high hands.
You know, one thing about watching that last replay, when Holwig made the hit, his stick came up on the follow-through near the face of Forsberg. And then Knuble had 2 shots at him, and Gagne left his feet and went high on Holwig, and the result is a minor penalty in favor of the Rangers. Yager is still standing there talking to the official.
Well, and John, that's why I thought the Knuble hit, if you watch the neck reaction of Ryan Holwig when he gets hit from behind by Mike Knuble, that's what really caught the eye of Kerry Fraser, and he came over and explained it to Tom Rennie and then over to Ken Hitchcock.
You saw some of the games coming up on OLN this week, as well as the Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC next weekend. Boy, will that ever be fun. Okay, here it is. Holwig 44. He gets a roughing minor. Gagne a charge and a cross-check to Knuble, so a power play Rangers.
And in looking at the net results here, the Flyers, I think, did the right thing. They're only going to be short 1 minor penalty. They're already up 4-1, and they wanted to send a message that they were going to protect their a great player in Peter Forsberg. So I think the Flyers, in essence, in watching all that, would be very happy with the way things are sitting right now.
And particularly on the big board right now, as they are 2 points away from 99. If they get the 2 points in 60 here, looks like a good chance that they will, but you never know. Rangers with 100, the Flyers with a 60-minute win would have 99. And still, 2 games left to play. Forehander turned aside by Niittymaki. Chipped onto the back and held there by the Rangers, given over to Jaromir Jagr. 5 against 4 power play. Jagr to the back, hands on to Straka. Moves in and fires, getting a piece of that was Desjardins, and he is able to lift it down. So now it's Jagr's puck to play. Away from Nedved. Slides back and hands it on to Straka. Over the line and back in, and so offside freezes the clock with 59 seconds for the Flyers still to kill.
Rangers make one change to take the youngster rookie Peter Pruka off the ice and put Peter Sikora out there. You know, Ken Hitchcock, the head coach, when he left his junior team in Kamloops years ago, the man that replaced him in Kamloops to coach that junior team, the Rangers head coach, Tom Rennie. So they've known each other for a long time. And Ken was a part of the process, the interview process, and they had 2 men ahead of Tom Rennie. One of them was the editor of the paper in town, so he couldn't take the job. He was too busy. And the other was Don Hay, who's a tremendous junior coach right now in Canada. He was a fireman at the time and couldn't get a leave of absence. And Tom Rennie got the job and led that team to Memorial Cup.
A steal and a chance out in front for Nylander, who went down, and it's lofted on back in the last 28. Well, I think the newspaper editor could have sure led a campaign to get the job. Deal with guys that buy ink by the ton. I think you gotta like your chances. Well, here's Sikora, who has had the best chances for the Rangers today. Sees it go to Jagr, then on back again to Straka. Hands it across once more, and it's Roosevelt. Straka, plenty of time for Jagr to blast, and it's held by Niittymaki.
Good setup by Straka, good shot because it's on net, and Niittymaki, again, who was not expected to play, has made some solid saves in this game. Just 2 seconds to go on the Flyer minor.
Well, it's time to take a look at our feature called Name That Squirt. They never give us a chance to look at this in advance. We're watching it for the first time as you are, and we're trusting that the squirt was not a goaltender, but somebody with a great right-hand shot.
Go.
Well, it's a Whaler number 11. Now, who would that have been? Pierre goes back so far in junior hockey or youth hockey, he might know.
Well, Pierre knows he knows all the players.
I'm going to say Simon Gagne.
I'll tell you what, it looked like Darian Hatcher hit him after he scored that one goal there. I can tell you that.
Whoa. Oh, a chance in front, and the shot sent wide by Mike Knuble. And that's my guess. Oh, it is correct. Okay, we are told that it is Mike Knuble.
Oh, nice goal. Pierre, you didn't get that one, big boy.
Once in a while, get lucky up here. Once in a great while. No, the major horse in this game has been the Flyers since the very start of this. 15 shots to 3, 12 chances to none in the first period. Here's a chance in front of backhander, fought off by Minimaki, and he's able to cover.
Mike.
Let's hear from Pierre.
Well, that last power play the New York Rangers had, Martin Straka is up high in the slot. And then what happens is 24, Sammy Kapanen goes over on 68, Jaromir Jagr. That opens up a shooting avenue for Martin Straka. Yeah, and you'll see 24 in black, Sammy Kapanen come right over to Jaromir Jagr. There's the importance. You see Hansen's pick and big shot on goal.
Flyers have it, but just that quickly turn it over. And it is left there for Straka, but lost on the checking of Carter. Back out comes Umberger, has Dimitrakos up the wing. R.J. Umberger plays it on back for a centering pass by Dimitrakos. Came to Umberger, swung it wide. Pretty workmanlike by the Flyers here, particularly when they got the 4-0 and then the 4-1 when the Rangers closed it. It settled things down pretty well here. Their goaltender helped them on that stop on Sikora.
Niedermaki is quietly becoming a very important factor here since the beginning of the second period. The Rangers have outshot the Flyers 18-10, and he's quietly made some really solid saves. Or this could be 4-2, maybe even 4-3.
Here's Ward shoving it on back to Tom Poti. Flipped one in front that just cut off very confidently by Pitkinen, and he's able to peel away.
He's a good young player. So you're looking at the future of the Flyers blue line right there.
Talked about some of the acquisitions the Flyers made at the trade deadline. And certainly the Rangers have to be complimented on Sikora, not only because of the production they've gotten from him when the game clock is moving, but also with 3 winning goals on shootouts. Turning around now is Knuble with it. Knuble fed it back for Simone Gagne. Forsberg is out there as it's played back to the point. Gauthier a shot! Gliding in front was Knuble, just as Weeks was reaching out with a glove hand. Now Gagne. That shot bounced to Knuble. Chopped away from him by Poti. And coming by Forsberg. Oh, was he ever rubbed out to the board. And Weeks comes up with a big save.
Peter Sikora with 3 body checks in his own zone on that shift. And you know the big body of Mike Knuble makes the big difference. He shields the puck all shift long. We've had some good body work in this game as the game has moved along. Sikora. Out. There's a good one along the boards. So we've seen some good body work, and that man, Sikora, hit 3 of them by himself in the last shift as the Forsberg line was controlling the puck in the Rangers zone.
Knuble 6'2", 232 pounds.
Does he ever, you know, it's amazing to see a guy like Mike Knuble. At one time he belonged to the Rangers. He's been a Bruin, but his career has gotten better as he's gotten older. And it probably clicked in around 30 years of age. He's 33 now.
You know, that's usually said about defensemen or goaltenders more than it is about forwards. Their most productive years tend to be the first 5 or 6 years.
Well, you know what really kicked in for him? Playing with Joe Thornton up in Boston. When he played with Glenn Murray and Joe Thornton, that elephant line was almost impossible to contain, and that gave Mike Knuble all kinds of offensive opportunities and all kinds of offensive confidence.
Yeah, Pierre, he fits the puzzle. Joe Thornton and Murray in Boston, and then Gagne and Forsberg here with Philadelphia.
Kapanen shot, Weeks blocked off. Donald Brashear there, worked on a bit by Thomas Pope. And then Blair Betts. Then Tootin, and the Rangers can change to offense if they can get it to center. Colton Orr bounces it back in. And he comes to the bench. Oh, he hit Brashear, and then
Orr jabbed him with a stick.
Thrust out a stick right at him at center.
Colton Orr just speared Donald Brashear in the stomach. I don't know how that got let go. It wasn't anything vicious, but still the attempted spear was there. Brashear clearly challenged Orr right in front of me.
And that would be Donald Brashear of the team that is ahead by 3 goals. Hanzus flips, and we are going to get a penalty call, and that's interference.
Blair Betts had his stick knocked out of his hands. It went like a javelin all the way to center ice. Peter Nedved talking to the referee. He says, why? All I did was lift his stick. But he's going.
93 Philadelphia. 2 minutes interference.
Betts was standing there with his stick, and next thing you knew, the stick was flying all the way through the air. There. He knocked it out of the hands of Betts, and then he got rid of it. So I guess knocking it out of his hands was okay.
Well,
but when you get rid of it,
it was evidence.
Another former Ranger, Peter Nedved, played 6 years, I think, as a Ranger. And he's coming back from the flu bug and also a groin injury. It looks like he's skating well.
Perfect time for them. Initially, he was gotten as a fill-in centerman because Primo is missing his 71st game today from a concussion, post-concussion syndrome. There has been talk of him playing. He practiced with the team on Monday.
But he said he promised his family he would not play unless he's 100% able to take body works. When you've had severe concussions, you can't mess around. You've got a whole life to live.
Good point. And the other thing is that the NHL has for some time now had testing, baseline testing in the fall when everybody's healthy, and then they have numbers they can compare it to before you're allowed back. Here is Jagr with a shot. Oh, a headhunter that got the glass. Nylander laid it back across. Here's Ozolinsh. Then Nylander, but off his stick. 1:05 to go on the penalty kill for the Flyers, and Mike Richards picks up Kapanen and got it across to him. Onside, he's in. Save made by Weeks. And around behind to be taken by Puka, nudged on back.
Richards make a play to set up Kapanen, and then Weeks kicked it out with his right leg. What a play by Richards.
I don't know how he stayed onside.
I don't either, but he did. The linesman had a good look at it. It's a smart. These kids have had a great game here for the Flyers. Carter, Richards, Homburger, Meyer.
Richards, the captain of Canada's gold medal team in the World Juniors in 2005. Junior hockey. That's how young he is. Fed in front, and that careened on back, and Gagne lifted it back out again.
That was going to be a slam dunk goal, but Darian Hatcher made a great intercept with his stick.
That junior team was spectacular for Canada. Jeff Carter was on that team. Sidney Crosby was on that team. Dion Phaneuf was on that team. That was one of the more special junior teams in the history of the World Junior Hockey Championship.
They beat Russia for the gold, and they had no less than Alexander Ovechkin and Yevgeny Malkin, one of whom plays for Washington, and another, the Penguins hope, will be playing for them. Right back ahead at shove by Dominic Moore. Hallwig. Oh, did Forsberg ever want him?
Yeah, and Forsberg's going to the penalty box. He left his feet.
Did not make real contact, but the intent was there, and that will be what will take him to the box.
Here he comes. He's got him lined up. He went to the head. Just missed him.
It's a physical game here in Ranches, Philadelphia. Puck goes in deep. Ryan Hallwig going for a foot race. Peter Forsberg. A little bit earlier in the period, Colt Nord trying to get away from Donald Brashear, puts a stick right into his stomach in front of me. Kerry Fraser came to the Philadelphia Flyer bench and said all Colt Nord was trying to do is push Brashear away.
Good information, Pierre. So it was spotted, but it was not considered to be worthy of the spearing penalty. Here is Jagr now with a pass that came across to Tootin. Power play on for the Rangers. 7:35 left in the third. It is Tootin. Feeds it across. Roosevelt gave it back. Tootin a shot out of the glove of Niedermaki, and then with help he covers.
And Niedermaki able to find the high shot and then find the rebound. The shots are 8-5 Rangers here in this third period. Flyers still, however, enjoy a 4-1 lead. Niedermaki worked and very quick to find the rebound, and Gauthier took Nylander right out of the play. That's the good play. Tough to score from behind the goal line when the defenseman gets you away from the net. Good job by Gauthier.
Rangers at least got a shot and a chance. The prior two power plays, they had neither on either, but they got one early on this. See if that springboards to more. Jagr left it behind, but regathers. Then Tootin has Roosevelt and got it to him. Inside the box is Straka. To the outside, though, it comes to Nylander. Then Roosevelt again. Tootin a shot, and that deflected to the glass. Booted along and then played further by Straka. Jagr holds. Nearing the halfway point of the kill for the Flyers. Yager with a shot. It's off of the glove of Niittymaki. Played back along now by Nylander. Picked up there by Hatcher. Twists it weakly along, and it's cleared and back down. And Straka gets up to protest, going down but not drawing a penalty. 45 to go on the power play. Flyers will throw a wrench into the Rangers' hopes of getting the Atlantic Division title. If they win this game in 60, they will still be 1 point away from the Rangers. The Rangers will have one game left against Ottawa in New York on Tuesday. The Flyers will have a pair left tomorrow afternoon in New Jersey and then Tuesday night at Long Island. Hooked on back in a nice maneuver by Nylander. Thrown back across by Cody. Wristed toward the net and chipped across. In by Sikora and stopped by Niittymaki. Rushed on again by Pody. Sikora trying to filter it through. Gets it on to Jason Ward. Ward protects pretty well. Then darts to the net. Sikora couldn't come up with a pass. Centered it off the outside of the cage. Pody moves it across. Penalty time up. Yager there throws one that careened on back. With 5 3/4 minutes to go here. And the penalty box empty to Peter Forsberg. He racks in and out of traffic and plays it ahead to Richards.
Looked like a tornado going around and around and around, but held onto the puck, made a good play. And we have a penalty coming up. The slashing call against, I believe, the Rangers.
They get close, but not in because of Antero Niittymaki. Slashing penalty to Peter Sikora brings about a power play for the Flyers. Forsberg, Knuble, and Gagne are out there for Philadelphia. Sent on back for Pitkanen, gives it across to Sami Kapanen, but away from his reach. Knuble cancels with Tuki. Reaching in Forsberg, but it caromed for a Ranger advantage, and it's played back ahead now, and trying to finesse in is Hossa. Hossa tied up by the defense, tried to muscle it through to Muir, but it's cut and thrown out by Gagne. Away comes Peter Forsberg, crossing, trying to swagger by. Strepik said no. Gagne gave back onto Knuble, and then it's back to Pitkanen. Sami Kapanen, the ex-Carolina Hurricane, handed it on to Forsberg. Originally drafted by the Flyers, played it to Pitkanen, and the shot deflected away by Weeks.
What a pass. I think that was up in the air on purpose. And Pitkanen had to catch the puck, put it down, but he was wide open.
So, John, this is second nature now. I mean, he doesn't really think that much. He just reacts.
Peter Forsberg or Pitkanen? Peter?
Yeah.
I think Peter's having just a fabulous game. I wondered how he would be in the third period because conditioning, when you have a groin injury, you can't skate hard. You can't practice. You can't get your lungs going. And he's been good. I mean, he's been real good.
So the score is 4-1, and they haven't taken him off yet. Carter put that one on goal, or at least rested him. He's off the ice right now for the other wave on this power play. Would you with a game tomorrow in New Jersey? 4:03 to go in the third. I think the answer is no, because it's late enough in the game.
You can look at it the other way. It's a good conditioning game for him. If he's 100% healthy, and he says he is, then play him. That plays you into top game shape, and the only way you can get there is by playing.
Drive by Meyer, blocked aside by Betts.
Especially with the playoffs right around the corner, Mike. It's going to be something tomorrow in Jersey, watching Peter Forsberg play and having John Madden play against him. That's going to be some act. Pierre, what would you do?
I'd keep playing Peter Forsberg to try to get him in shape, John. I think your point is really well founded. The fact of the matter is Peter Forsberg's a guy that loves big minutes, and in order to play big minutes, you got to play a lot. And there's nothing like playing in a game to get in shape.
Nice steal from Hanzus by Yager, sends it ahead for Nylander. Nylander tried for Yager, got up with it. Nice finesse move by Big Jaromir. Peels off and drops it in for Sikora. In my mind, the two most impressive Rangers have been Sikora with the chances as well as the hitting, and Blair Betts with his courage. He was ready to block another shot on that power play a moment ago.
The big difference in this game was the first period. The Flyers were fired up. The fans were fired up. Forsberg, they were fired up. And then in the second half of the game, this gentleman, who was the MVP not only of all goaltenders, but of the entire Olympics, Niittymaki, has quietly played himself a heck of a game. He's only been beaten once on 24 shots. And in the second half of the game, there's been a few quality shots against him. Remember, the Rangers never had a scoring chance. Not one registered scoring chance in the first period. Been pretty good since, though.
Time to look at our Ram Tough line presented by Dodge, and there they are. Nico Dimitrakos, who had just come from San Jose. R.J. Umberger, a draft pick of Vancouver in 2001, was unsigned by them out of Ohio State. Flyers picked him up, and then, of course, Jeff Carter, the first-round pick in 2003, 11th overall. This deflected across for the Rangers to move back out in the last 2.5.
Umberger was actually, for a while, property of the Rangers, too, another one. And then they didn't want to re-sign him, and the Flyers did as a free agent. He's a big body that's fit well as that Carter, Umberger, Dimitrakos line is. When you get secondary scoring away from your big guys, it really gives your team a fantastic boost.
Peter Forsberg's just leaving the ice. Ken Hitchcock put him right back out for that defensive zone faceoff with Mike Knuble and Simon Gagne. You know, you talk about R.J. Umberger. R.J. Umberger's a kid that grew up in Pittsburgh. He worshipped at the shrine of Mario Lemieux. His entire room, his bedroom, was made up of Mario Lemieux posters.
And Pierre got them for him. Because he was there then. Pierre was an assistant coach of the Penguins when they won a couple. He's got a ring to show for it. But here is Hatcher, locked up with Pruka as we're down to the last 2:05 of the third period, regulation time, and the tilt. Ahead now is Kapanen with a blast that is deflected off the corner mesh by Rosabal, and again, play is halted here. Well, we're looking forward to next weekend. The playoffs actually begin on Friday in the NHL, but we will be covering action Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, and it will be thrilling, and we haven't determined all the positions yet. There are only 3 positions out of the possible 16 that have been determined as we sit here right now. Ken Hitchcock was talking earlier about one of the effects that he's noticed in this year's National Hockey League.
I love the action. I like the flow. The only thing I would really hope, and we're going to see this in playoffs, is that we allow the physicality to take place. Because I can tell you right now, there aren't as many hits, but the hits are big, and they're thunderous.
And from that, from hitting, comes passion. And from passion comes excitement. And a reason to pay the price of admission. That's right.
Exactly.
And here is some of it. There is still the possibility they might meet in the playoffs. You just don't want to give any quarter here, despite the fact this one's pretty well settled.
Now the Flyers have their defensemen in with their forwards, so no one's outnumbered. Faceoff will be outside the zone. There's 1:44 to go here in the third. I think the score in the, there's another shot by Brashear to the back of the head of Betts, and I'm not quite sure why.
A misconduct has been handed to Brashear. He's gone. Harry Fraser very quick with him.
Brashear has 44 penalty minutes in the series to lead all players between the two teams going into this game. And during his last shift, he got involved here. The puck is down below and on the ice. That's Thomas poke there with Savage. Betts moves in. Here's the first shot. There's the second, third. Yeah, from behind is Brashear. And then when the thing looked like it was over, Brashear will sneak in behind, and there's another shot to the back of the head. Brashear's had a quiet day, hasn't played a whole lot. He only had, I think, a few shifts, but making his presence felt here late as the score is determined. It's been a smart game, and if you're going to even do this stuff, do it like with no time left. It doesn't hurt your hockey club at all.
You do run a risk in the last 5 minutes of any contest in getting into something pretty wild, because it can cost you big time.
And your coach.
Yeah.
And your coach.
Jaromir Jagr absolutely irate, talking to Kerry Fraser, actually screaming at Kerry Fraser and Dave Jackson. He watched that whole thing from the Ranger bench, and he's saying, what about Donald Brashear? Yeah, he gets the misconduct, but what about all the extra headshots after the play? And you know what? He's absolutely right. Brashear was over the line.
Holweg got a roughing minor, and Brashear 4 minutes for roughing and the misconduct.
I didn't even see Holweg in there.
No, I didn't either. I didn't notice him at all, not even in the replay.
I saw the puck down on the ice, and there was a battle for the puck. But the referees were a lot closer to it than we were.
They were, and I would be disappointed in Holweg if he was nearby and not involved. Pierre.
All you can see is Brashear. You never saw Holwig at all. And I mean, I'm right here. I'm pretty close to it. I never saw Holwig till the end.
Rangers on the power play for the rest of regulation unless they score. So it's held by Tooten. Thrown to the front to Yager. Shooting and a save made by Niittymaki, and it's angled back out. We always try to translate crowd reactions for you, and they're just talking about the Rangers being stuck.
The crowd was great here today. This crowd was into it when the game started with the national anthem, and they have been very supportive of their club.
Yager, a shot deflected away. I wasn't aware of any snow, but that's been the case. Face-off will take place near Niittymaki, yes, sir?
You mentioned that Yager's still involved with the scoring race, tied with Joe Thornton. After today's game, the Rangers will have 1 game left, and Joe Thornton in San Jose has 2 left. So Thornton, if he's watching this game along with his teammates, they'll be very excited that the Flyers have been able to shut Yager out with only 48.8 seconds to go in this third period.
He may have earlier. Their game is just about to start now in San Jose with Anaheim. And the Sharks ever come from nowhere. They've won 7 straight now to finish off the season.
Yeah, 10 of 15 too. What a run they've been on. And I go back and look at this game this afternoon. The Flyers, Mike, and maybe you'll probably agree, they were, without question, almost a perfect team in the first period. That was as perfect in first period as you'll ever see in a big game. And that propelled them to what they have right now, and that's a 4-1 lead with 40 seconds left.
This is Tooten ahead. I do indeed agree, and it's such in contrast to what Ken Hitchcock was telling us about other first periods the Flyers have played lately. Yet he mentioned a game against Ottawa where first period was that strong and the game was over. The Dallas Stars have won their game over Minnesota and the Wild in overtime 4-3. Here's a feed in front that came to Yager, and that shot is kicked back down in the last 15 of the game.
Mike, last time these two teams met, Yager had 12 shots on goal, 12 in one game. And here he has not had nearly that. The Flyer fans stand and applaud their club as time runs out. They played a great game this afternoon, and they needed it for the Rangers. They are going in the opposite direction. And how about Peter Forsberg?
Evidently, their ship has come in 98 and 99 points as a result of this. Final score in the game, the Flyers 4, the Rangers 1. There is only a 1-point difference between the Flyers and the Rangers, and the Flyers still have 2 games left. The Rangers have only 1. What a day for the surprise starter, Antero Niittymaki, too. As downstairs we go to Pierre and Jeff Carter.
Jeff, big win for you. How's it feel going into your game tomorrow afternoon against New Jersey?
Oh, great. You know, we knew this was a big game coming up. Battle for first place. So I think we're pretty happy with the way we played.
It's really a playoff atmosphere, huh?
Yeah, definitely. It was a high-tempo game.
Thanks a lot. Doc, back to you.
Flyers 4, Rangers 1. Coming up next on NBC, we head out to Stratton, Vermont for the Burton U.S. Open Snowboarding Championships. For John Davidson, Pierre McGuire, Mike Emmerich, you've been watching the NHL on NBC from Wachovia. So long, everybody.